Hi everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to my channel, Backcountry Stitcher. If you are new here, thanks so much for taking the time to click on that button to check me out. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. I know it has been it's been a hot minute since I've filmed. It's been almost 4 weeks since my whip parade. Mostly because I've been traveling, and the one weekend I did have, I'll be honest with you guys, I was just tired and did not have the energy or time even then to film. So I finally got a chance to film. I am hoping the next month or so I should be pretty regular, but after that we'll have to see. I have a lot of teachings coming up, and I also have a lot of stitching retreats coming up in April. So busy, but I am happy to be here. I have a lot to share with you guys today. And part of that is because all of the traveling that I've been doing, I have been actually getting a pretty decent amount of stitching done. And so I've had a lot of time. And also it's been like 4 weeks. So I've had the time to work on a lot. So let's just get right into it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is, so I know a lot of you guys really liked my whole talking about national parks at the end of my videos. I am not sure I'm going to continue doing that. And it is mostly because it actually does require a pretty significant amount of prep work. And I am very short on time these days. So we'll see if it comes back in the future. But for right now, I am gonna have to take a break from that. So I apologize. But yeah, so I really love to do it, but again, it's just kind of a time thing, and just even finding the time to film floss tubes can be a little difficult sometimes. So so we're gonna take a hold on that. So I'm sorry if you really enjoyed those. I know a lot of you did. If I have time to kind of share my journeys and stuff in the future, I will, but for now, just taking a break. So the other thing too is I do apologize for the lighting. My ring light broke and I still have not replaced it yet. So I'm doing the best I can, but the outdoor light is not great today. It's been kind of a snowy gray day. So yeah. All right, well, let's get started. So the other thing too I'm going to tell you is that all of my before pictures are going to be from my whip parade. So if you haven't seen that, that's where I'm going to put my before pictures, and it's just logistically way easier. So let's get started. So first of all, really big news. So a while back, you guys might remember that I rescued a Mirabilia piece that had previously been stitched. It was Queen of Freedom. I found her on eBay when I was looking for the pattern, but the fully stitched piece came up for sale. I don't know where it was from, but shockingly it was actually cheaper than the pattern. So that pattern is ridiculously expensive, but that's neither here nor there. So I found her a while ago and I restored her. There was some stitching that needed to be restored. There were some treasures and some beads that needed to be replaced and kind of tightened up. So I restored her, and then I took her to get her framed. Now, the reason it's been so long has been because the frame that I picked out, and I actually did kind of a double frame, which I'll show you, was not in stock. And the supplier that my framer gets her frames from was like, oh yeah, it'll be in next month. And then it wasn't. And then so it was a whole thing. And we ended up picking a different frame so that I could finally get it back. But I got her framed at Craft Center of Fine Stitchery, which is my local needle workshop here in Salt Lake City, and she came out gorgeous. So without further ado, I'm gonna have to move my chair because she's rather big. Oh, sorry about that noise, guys. I apologize. All right, here she is, Big Bertha herself. So this is Queen of Freedom by Mirabilia. Unfortunately, this is out of print now. And so you can find it on eBay, but it's more than I'm willing to spend on a pattern. So this is her. I'll try to get her a little bit close. So I did a double frame on her, and I did this little one with little beads, and then I just kind of has that older weathered but still golden look. And then I did double matting on her with a nice blue I thought that that went really well. I had some help. The girls at Craft Center are amazing. I'll try to get her. It's a little hard because my desk's in the way, but here's some of the beading down here. Now these treasures that are right in here, if you can see, they needed to be replaced everywhere. And there was some stitching in the stars that needed to be replaced, and the beading needed to be kind of tightened down. But yeah, I am super happy with her. My husband is not. He is not a fan. And it's interesting because I'm usually not very patriotic, but for some reason I just really love this piece. So, but my husband's not really a fan. So she is going to be going in my office/craft room. So I can sit and admire her, but my husband doesn't have to stare at her all the time. He's not really into the whole fancy lady thing, which is fine. I can put fancy ladies where he doesn't have to stare at them all the time. But I love her. I don't know who stitched her. I do believe she was stitched. It looks like 14 count oatmeal Aida is what it was stitched on. I'm assuming it was oatmeal Aida. It looks like it. And it does measure as 14 count, which is why she is enormous. But I don't know who stitched her, and makes me a little sad because I, wish you could see her now. I did, replace the entire frame. The old frame she was in just didn't do her justice. So that's her. All right, so moving on to my own stitching. Let me put her down. She's a biggin. She's a biggin. Let me pull my chair back. Whoop. Okay. All right, so stitching. I mentioned in my WIP parade that I did not have a New Year, New Start planned. And thankfully my friend Christina, she gave me and our other friend Jamie she kind of kitted up a little free pattern from the Drawn Thread, and it's called First Snow. And this is actually a start and finish, a staff. And I did this in about 2 days. I don't know what got into me, but here it is. First Snow. Oh, there's like a fuzzy on it right there. And this was kind of fun because it's stitching, but there's specialty stitches. I mean, they're not super special, but these pine leaves or whatever you want to call it, the bristles are straight stitches. They call them pine stitches. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but, and then the snow is actually tiny, I think, Smyrna crosses. So I haven't done much with specialty stitches, so this was kind of a good introduction, but the birds are really cute. And the snow is really cute. And this is on 32 count Lugana, and it's a mystery color. We don't know what it is, and it's 2/2 full cross, except for the specialty stitches. So I thought that was really cute. It's a free pattern from the Drawn Thread, so anyone can get it pretty easily. Okay, so WIPs. I have, since it's been so long since I've seen you guys, I have 8 WIPs to show you. So it's gonna take a minute, but yeah, so let's just get started. I have them all kind of piled next to me, and we will just start going through them. So the first one is Drake Warrior Kitty, the snippet, and this is from the Cross Stitch Studio. This one I've been working on for a little less than a year now, and he is coming along really nicely. So I'm not going to totally unscroll him, but I did take him off of the lap part, but here he is. So I think, I don't remember where I was. I'm going to put it in here where I was last time, but I added a few new diagonals to him, and we're really getting into, like, you know, the whiskers and the armor, and up close, it's it looks, I don't know, you can't really tell, I don't know, but when you pull it back, it looks amazing. This area here though, in his collar is, I am in confetti hell here. It is so much confetti, and part of that is just because to get this brownish, like kind of rusted color, there's a ton of different colors, but then also you have these whiskers coming through, which in order to achieve that look, it's just a ton of confetti. This area is actually not so bad, but this here is insane. So I'm actually, last night I just hit just over 75% on this. I think I'm like 75.12% is where I'm at. So my goal for him was to get him done this year, and I think that's a very realistic goal. He's my January piece, so I'm still going to be working on him. I don't know how much, I don't know, maybe a couple more times in January. But then after that, he'll go away until March. I'm going to swap him and my Hade. So he looks so good. I can't believe how cool those whiskers look. And like where the whiskers come out from, it's so funny with these full coverages when you're stitching them. It's like, what is happening with these colors? Like these just seem like random colors, and then you pull it back and it's like, oh, there it is. That's why. So that is Drake Warrior Kitty. Let's see, what do I have next? So this next one is my Year in the Woods one that I am doing. This is the swans. This pattern has seen better days, but this is the swans. This is the Year in the Woods #2. And this has been a travel piece for me. I have been working on this when I have been traveling and on the plane and in the hotel room. So I've actually gotten quite a bit done on this. And the swans are finished, the house is finished, and now I'm just kind of finishing up the background. So I'm just gonna fold this a little bit, just a little bit to show you, but it's so wrinkly too. I'm sorry, I really should have ironed this, but I didn't. So here we are with the swans. So yeah, I finished, I don't know if I had started on the house yet. Honestly, can't remember from the last time I showed you guys. But I think I had the swans done and I had some of the background done, but I'm moving into the pine cones here, which are it's very stitch heavy, interestingly, but it moves along pretty quickly. I thought the pine cones and like the pine leaves were gonna take a lot more. Is the light better over here? No. I thought it was gonna take a lot more time, but coming along nicely. So I should have this done hopefully during my next trip. Well, I think I'm going to work on it before then, because my teaching gigs in February got canceled. So I'm off February and I don't travel again until March. So I'll probably pick this up and try to finish this before then and move on to my next one. Not sure which one I'm going to do next. I think I'm going to do them in numerical order, but I have no idea. So I'm done with all the trees too. It's really just the pine cones and like a couple of those little snowflakes is really all that's left. Well, and not even the pine cones, just the pine leaves. I got the pine cones already, so just the pine branches. So that's the swans. And I think I'm gonna leave these out because I always take photos. I try to always take photos after my floss tubes, and I always, like, when I'm done showing them, I always put them back in the bag and then I have to take them out. So I'm just gonna try to remember to leave them out. This next one is Winter by the Cricut collection, Cross-Eyed Cricut. And I believe it was like 4 weeks ago, guys. I don't remember where I was. I believe I had just gotten part of the E done, or maybe I had finished the E. I was somewhere in the E situation. So I actually have finished now the T, E, and R. And I did I'll show you guys the problem here. I did the back stitching too. So let me just fold this here. So here is where I'm at now. So I finished, so I'm halfway through, honestly. Yeah, I finished the T, E, and R and all of the stuff that goes along with it. The only thing I'm worried about is I did do the back stitching, and the problem is that some of these, I did them, instead of stitching like, I basically did them like long stitches. I don't like the back stitching like just one square at a time, because then when you go on a diagonal, it just doesn't look right to me. So some of the back stitching really only looks, it gets warped if it's loose. You can kind of, maybe you can see it, like if the fabric's loose, it kind of drips a little bit. So it has to be held taut for it to really work. So I'm hoping that that doesn't get messed up as I'm working on the rest of it. And you can't really see, but the white in the snowman and in the snowflakes actually has blending filament in it. So it sparkles a little bit in the light. But yeah, I'm trying to hold it taut because that's where the back stitching, I don't know. I think it'll be okay, but I definitely am gonna try to be a little bit more careful when I'm handling this. So this means I'm halfway through. A little bit more than halfway actually, because this snowman is huge. So about halfway through. I think I should be able to get this done this season, because my goal is to try and do each of these in a season and finish it during that season. So let's see. I can't remember when the spring equinox is, but I'll look it up. I think I should have it done. It's usually not till like March or something, isn't it? End of March, probably. February, March, yeah. So that's where we're at with winter. I'm going to leave you out as well. And I did get some beads or buttons. I don't know what you call it. I got some little buttons, some stars, some pine cones, little gingerbread man to kind of add to it when I am finished stitching it. So we'll see. I want to kind of get some more, but that was the choice that I had at the time. Pardon me, let me take a sip of water. So this next one I have mixed feelings about. So this is it's called Under the Sea, and this is the Teresa Kogut piece. This is one of the Teresa Kogut pieces that was a exclusive for Stitch West. And I am doing this with a group of friends from Table 10 at Stitch West. Some other floss tubers that were there are Julie from Stitching at the Cabin, Renee, the Appalachian Stitcher, Jamie is participating. She's Cross Stitch and Chill. She's participating, but I don't think she's stitching one herself. So what we're doing, and then there's Christina, Rhonda, Alyssa from Stitching at the Cabin with Julie, and I think Jinian's doing, I'm not sure. So what we're doing is we're all stitching this, but each one of us is taking a motif and we're going to stitch it on everyone. So like I'm going to stitch the seahorse on everyone's piece. And then, Christina's stitching the lobster on everyone's piece. And this has been kind of a bear for me, I'll be honest with you. It seems like pretty straightforward, but it's actually a lot bigger than it looks. I mean, it's 110 by 110, which doesn't sound like a lot, I guess, but it's plenty. I will say, I think I got two of the biggest motifs done, which is the mermaid. Let me get something to put behind this. The mermaid and the whale. which that whale, it doesn't seem enormous, but it is. I mean, look at this sucker. So I have gotten the mermaid done, the whale done, some of the fishies and the seaweed. I still have this big like pot. There's like a big plant over here I have to do, as well as the water on top, and then a whole bunch of little fishies. So I think I'll definitely be able to get this done. We're going to work on this all together at Stitch Shenanigans at the end of April. I was just working on this today when Christina and Jamie and I met up to stitch together. And again, so that's part of the reason why it's so wrinkled. I literally just got it out of the hoop. I do use this as a work piece as well because it's pretty simple and it's easy for me to just like pick up, put a few stitches in. This whale though, guys, like that's a lot of 926, a lot. If I don't see 926 after this project is done forever, I will be okay. But that's a lot of 926. But I did it. It was a labor of love because I love my friends and I'm doing this with them. So it's a labor of love. Okay. Let me just put, oh, I forgot to put that away. Okay. And throwing stuff everywhere as per usual. What do we have next? Oh, okay. So this one I actually forgot to put in my whip parade, I realized. This is Scenic Farm. This is a Dimensions kit. And the last time you saw this, I had just started working on the house a little bit. There is a Sal going on. It's called Scenic Farm Sal, hashtag Scenic Farm Sal. I'm really bad about posting stuff on Instagram in general, and I'm really bad about participating. I'm not good at participation situations. Like I don't do like WhipGo or what's the other one that's going on? Bringo. And I don't do a lot of Sals because it puts pressure on me. And so I don't like that. I don't want to have any pressure on me. So since you guys last saw it, I've added quite a bit more to the house here. I definitely got all of this dark part of the house done. I finished out this fence here and I added this tree. And there is like, this is going to be the roof covered in snow. It's hard to see the white stitches, but it'll come out when the back stitching's in. And I love this piece. I've been stitching on this actually in the hotels when I've been traveling. And it's an easy piece for me to work on. Not super complicated. Although, well, this can get a little complex in here because of all these different colors. And so there's like 3 or 4 different like colors and some blends in there to make it look like that brick. But when I got this piece, I think I mentioned, this reminds me of growing up in rural Connecticut and winters there. So I like stitching on it. I kind of put it down for a little while and then I picked it back up and I'm like, oh, I enjoy this. I will say though, the Dimensions Ada, after working with a lot of other different fabrics, I realized how stiff this Ada is. It does loosen up as you work with it, but it's very, very stiff. And that's true of pretty much all the Dimensions kits I've worked on. So just, I mean, it's not a reason to not do a Dimensions kit. It just is something to just be aware of. But it does loosen up. It does. All right. And, okay, so this one I've been obsessed with. I'm gonna have to insert a picture in right here of what it's gonna look like. This is the pointed fifth. It is Long Dog sampler. And I have been on a mission with this one. So my goal, so last time I had finished the first page. I'm almost done with the second page now. I haven't mentioned it for the other ones, so I'm sorry as far as fabric counting goes, but this is a 28 count Jobelan, and I'm stitching this with the color 154, DMC 154, 1/1, full cross, well, yeah. And yeah, so this marked right here, this-ish area, marked the end of page 1, and then this is obviously the end of page 2, and then I just have this to come down and do. My goal for this piece for the year was to get to 33%, and I think I'm definitely going to get there because each page is about 5%. If I'm stitching at this, I mean, it's so easy to pick up because it's just one color and it's on Pattern Keeper, and I just stitch however I feel like it. So it's just really easy to pick up, which makes it really tempting to work on like a lot. And especially I just stick it in my Lowry stand and then it's there for me to work on. So yeah. I love this. I was not anticipating having so much fun stitching on a monochromatic piece, but I really am. And that's, like I said, that's the pointed fifth. Yeah. It's so much fun. Definitely recommend these Long Dog samplers. I also have the Pandemic pattern, and I'm tempted to start that one too, but then the other part of me is like, oh, you're enjoying this so much, just do this one first, and then, I don't know. We're at 2 going. I have quite a few whips already, although I feel like I want to start even more. So. Okay, last 2 are my Mirabilias, and these are exciting because I'll show you. So the first one is Lilith of Labrador. And I believe I had most of her hair and headdress done, and like this, because I'm dividing it into quarters, the pattern into quarters instead of halves. It's just easier for me to go through. And so I had done most of this page-ish, and then I still had these to do. So I actually went on a little bit of a tear with this one, and I got, I have a loose needle there. I actually got all of the stitching done on the top half of the pattern. So that is all of the full crosses with the Krennic. There's not a ton of Krennic in this piece, unlike my other Mirabilia. So it's really just like part of the headdress out here, and up here is really pretty much, I think, all of the Krennic that's in this. So this is the top half, this part right here, that marks where the page or where the pattern turns over, and we get into her tail. And then the rest of this is all the rest of her headdress is just backstitch and beading. And there's like some random beads in her hair right here. I don't know. And then her top is tons of, there's a lot of beads in this. I mean, it's not super bead heavy, but I think the top part is more bead heavy than the bottom. But I will say the bottom part is much more stitch heavy. So I have a lot more stitching to do. Her tail is pretty big. I mean, her tail's pretty big. But we're gonna get there. And this is on 32 count Lugana, and the color is Tsunami by Be Stitch Me. And I love it. And I did the back stitching too. I did the back stitching on her body for the most part. and her face. I gave her a face. I thought that was nice of me to do. So that is Lilith. And my last one, I'm stuck here, guys. Okay. My last one is my Cathedral Woods Goddess, and this is what she's gonna look like finished. And I actually finished the top half of this pattern too. I was pretty close the last time, because the last time I only had just like the top part of her hair and this horn to do to finish off this page here. So I was pretty close last time. And here she is. Let me, I have this folded, but not quite right. Yeah. All right, here we go. And this is her. So yeah, the whole top half of the pattern is done as far as like the stitching goes. I did some back stitching, but there's quite a bit of back stitching I can't do because I need to put the beads in first in order to do it. But we're about to enter Krennic land. I mean, the center part of her dress is all Krennic too, but these like leaves and branches that she's holding is all Krennic, and there's a ton of those. So, but I did give her a face too. I gave her that a while ago. And this is on 32 count Heritage by Picture This Plus. So yeah, she's gorgeous. So I get to move her on the Q-snap too. That's why she's out of the Q-snap, because I gotta move her. I have to move Lilith too, but haven't done that yet. So those are all my whips. It's 8 whips. Let me just put this here. It's 8 whips, and I don't know. I don't really make plans. If you guys have been watching this channel, I don't really make plans. I kind of just stitch. I do the, what is it? Sweewee. Stitch what you want, when you want. I just kind of, it depends on how I'm feeling. It depends on how much I want to set myself up that night, depending on when I get home. Because if I get home really late and I have my long dog already on my Lowry stand, I'm just going to sit down and put some stitches in that. I'm not going to pull out a whole separate project to set up if I don't get home until like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So yeah, I just stitch what I want when I want. So as far as, so I guess some people, you know, we call it haul, but some people are calling it stash acquisitions now. I did get a few stash acquisitions. I was in my LNS and I saw this stitched up, and I don't know why I do this to myself, you guys. Like, I have another one I want to do, but it's another Buttons and Beads. This is the Winter series, and it's Winter Stag. And this is full coverage. Like, all of this is, I mean, these are all full coverage. I don't know why I think that they look easy. They're not. And I still have another Buttons and Beads. I have 2 other Buttons and Beads I haven't even started yet or even set up yet, but I had to buy this one too. So just add that to the collection. I really want to start. There's that Snow Dog one I really want to start, but I love this one too. It's sparkly. So that's Winter Stag. And then I got some fabrics from, where did I get these from? Under the Sea Fabrics. And they're all 32 count Lugana. I have no idea what I'm going to use them for, and we'll see how well they show up on camera. But this one is called Whimsical Winter. Shows up pretty good. It's a little more purpley on camera than it is in person. So it's a little like kind of bluish, light bluish, purpley. It's really subtle. It looks more, yeah, that's pretty true. So I thought that was really pretty. I buy these fabrics and I don't know what I'm gonna stitch on them, but they're pretty and I like them, so I have them. I think I got these as part of like her Black Friday sale, so that was part of it too. So it was a while ago, and when they showed up, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I ordered those. The other one I got another one, which was, this is called Looking Glass. And this is like a purple, like a light purple. Oh, that's coming up more gray than it is in person. It's much more lilac. Yeah, that is not showing true to color at all. It's more of a lilac color. I'm trying to see if there's any, not really. It's not showing up, but it's called, like I said, it's called Looking Glass. And yeah, it's way more gray on the camera in this light. It's really pretty in person. I really like it. And then she also has these like mystery fabrics where you can like just like take a chance and see what you got. And so I got this one. This is a Hamlet. It's a smaller size. Let's see. Oh yeah, that shows up pretty. It's a little bit more subtle, the modeling, than in person than it is on camera. It's kind of a small piece. It's an 1/8, Stitcher's 1/8. I don't know what that means. 13 by 18. So I'm not sure exactly what I'll stitch on this, but yeah, the modeling is much more subtle in person. Kind of looks like space. So I guess I like purple. We're going with a lot of purple lately. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. So yeah, a lot of whips, a little bit of acquisitions, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my Queen of Freedom. I love her so much. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment. I try to respond to every comment. I think there's maybe a couple I missed last time. Yeah, you can also email me. I'll put my email address below, and I should have put on my Instagram, backcountry_stitcher. You can follow me on Instagram too. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys all have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will hopefully see you in 2 weeks is my goal. We'll see. All right. Bye.